Okay. Hello and welcome to another edition of the For the Love of Creatives podcast. You've got your Connections and Community Guy hosts. I'm Dwight, joined by Maddox. And today, our featured guest is Priyanka Khandalkar. Welcome to the podcast, Priyanka.
Thanks, Dwight. Thanks, Dwight and Maddox, for having me. I'm so excited for what's going to come here.
Us too. We've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, I know that we had a few opportunities to talk just before we got together. Seems like it's been a long time coming.
Mm.
And I know that there are going to be several people that will be introduced to you by having you come on our show. Um, I know that you can do a far better job of giving people an idea of who you are and what you're about. So, could you maybe spend the next couple minutes just giving all the creatives an introduction to who Priyanka is?
Yeah, sometimes I feel like which part of my identity I have to bring out here, right? Because we live so many identities. And I would say, if I have to, like, in nutshell, I would say I am an engineer turned entrepreneur turned healer turned creatives. Like, I think healing and creativity go together. When we heal, we bring back to our truth, our authenticity, and our authenticity is magnetic. So yeah, I'm very much coming from like engineering, think like total, like getting your hands crazy. I used to work in John Deere where they make those harvesting big combines machine. I had worked in furniture manufacturing. I've worked in all different kind of businesses. But interestingly, why even I got into engineering, but because when I was a child, I used to be always curious. I will be like in a bus, I will be looking outside how that was made, how it is moving. So it has been my curiosity who led me to engineering. Of course, I come from Indian background. I'm from India, came to US in 2008. So our parents only gave us two options, engineer or doctor, and my dad is an engineer. So of course, that also happened in my life, but I always felt why I thrived in that environment was it was my always my curiosity and meeting people from all walks of life, and like just being the leader without like being a leader without a title kind of. I always embodied those principles and brought the intentional, energetic presence leadership, even when I was engineer because I was the only female in the whole room of men. So I worked in Volkswagen, John Deere, where they make the cars and everything. So I come from very much that kind of masculine energy, Maddox and Dwight. And
Mhm.
then from there, I I had few moments in my life like I created different businesses. Uh, Different businesses like I went into creating rustic furniture from old temples in India to like baby products to even creating some app for increasing retention of students in engineering university. That was like very much earlier experiences that led me to like understanding that I'm really good with operations and project management. So I got certified as director of operation. Uh, Full like after that, I left my corporate like back in 2021, like especially around COVID, because I had a
Mhm.
little one at home. She was 2 and 3, and I was supposed to like travel to all these different manufacturing plants during that time, and I did not feel safe coming back to her. And
Yeah.
that was my place. Like I have been thinking and dreaming of leaving my corporate, but that was my last straw. Like I can't do this anymore, and I left corporate. And yeah, I started working as director of operation, chief operating officer for small businesses, especially who are into their authenticity, bringing their purpose out in the world. I worked with a lot of spiritual people. Like one of my clients, she's still my client. Like I was her, she was my first client back in 2020, and now she's still my client in my agency, but that time I was her director of operation to help us scale and grow, and she helps people to write their memoir by connecting to the land and the ancestors,
Oh,
right? So
wow.
I connected with lot of started connecting with very soul led leaders and entrepreneurs, helping them to scale and grow. I did that for a couple of years. I also joined Tony Robbins' team. Like I was their student, then I became the coach inside their program, and that also helped. And then I So in total, I helped more than 1,200 businesses to scale and grow without being like, what do you call, get certified as a coach or anything. It just came into my life. And then after doing that, also podcasts came into my life too. It was, I was telling you a story. During my corporate time, I went to this Unleash the Power Within big seminar of Tony Robbins, and there they have you walk on the fire. And
Yes.
that inspired me. Like that was the time I'm like, okay, all this suppressed voice, like I'm people pleasing and doing until then, everything I was doing was from out of performance,
Ah,
people pleasing. Like if I do this, then only I will be loved. If I do this, then only I will be said like I'm good at my work, kind of thing. Like overperforming, overextending. I still remember I was 8 months pregnant and I will be in the office till midnight working on stuff.
oh my goodness.
So I was a workaholic, you can see. So there's all these different things, but what is the main thing is like I learned how to build business. I learned how to be the best, but I was burned out. I was disconnected from myself, right? And that's when I knew that this is not the alignment. And I have been always that child who has been looking, or all my life, like never feeling belonged.
So many people feel that.
Yes.
I know that's certainly a song that I've sung in a lot of my early days.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
That,
have experienced that myself as
yeah.
well.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
so
why we are in this room together because we all align on our values and where we come from. I feel like it's always divine's plan when we like it's not about chasing, it's attracting each other,
yes.
right?
Yes.
So, yeah, I feel like my whole life was attracted to me. I went through different identities, started as an entrepreneur, doing one-on-one work as a consultant. During that time, also doing all this very creative baby products. And I was also in a relationship with someone with whom I started the business, like my husband, my ex. And for him, it was always the motivation was money. For me, it was always the impact, right?
Mm.
So somewhere down the line, like I figured out, like every time I will start a business, like there will be a little bit of motivation to start, but the momentum will go away. What happens after that, right? But it was our two of our energies coming together and not aligning, kind of a thing. So I learned all those different lessons too, and then from there, doing all these baby products, then I went into my own spiritual awakening in last 3 years, and that's when I feel like before that everything I did was like very masculine, very pressure oriented, with the people pleasing.
Mm.
But after that I went into my whole spiritual awakening in last 3 years and like connecting to the divine, connecting to the god for the first time, and like just embodying body mind soul alignment in terms of like truly body mind soul, like how I eat, what I breathe, like everything like that, like how I even like my menstrual cycle, how I'm aligning with that, working with those energy, like understanding my cycles are work lunar cycle and men cycles work in solar cycle. That's why it's 24 hours for us. It's like the lunar cycle, right? So I work in the my work has to be divided in that 30 days, like which part is strategy, which part is visibility, which, so I align with that. Even the food I eat, make
Yeah,
sure.
as you're sharing all of these different aspects and all these threads and how you're drawing the connections from all of the points in
Mhm.
the past and how they're part of how you are, I can't help but think of how all of the three main pillars that we talk about are captured. Like everything that you have done has been a journey in your own becoming. Your that whole spiritual awakening is informed by
Mhm.
all of the ways that you were pushed toward being in a very transactional engineering type world as a
Mhm.
child, and you did very well with it in business. And when you were married to your and I wasn't clear, you were actually a business partner and you were married.
No, so we came together to do a master's here in
Okay.
engineering, early 20s.
Oh.
And after we did our masters together, we started working in manufacturing, right? Together.
Hmm.
And then during that, so yeah, so it was more of like when we were dating, we were still like a student. And then that turned into like, yeah, so we are very much engineer, both of us. And yeah, and then we started businesses together on side kind of a thing with our businesses.
Yeah, and it's amazing how your life tended to drift in a direction where you didn't want to be defined by a
Mm.
table. Like
Mm.
you wanted to see things that were real. You wanted to connect with people, and watch sunsets, and get into the things that really make the juice worth the squeeze.
I would say that totally, Dwight. I think, yeah, and it's now I know why I am like this. The whole time I used to feel outlier. Like I can't even gossip. Like, so I used to always feel like, why I am like this? Like I can't, like I just can't fit in with anyone, right? So I always felt like I am not enough, right? Because I was trying
Oh.
to find that validation from outside the whole
Mhm.
time. And I think it also comes from the father wound I carried. I come from a very toxic childhood. And now I understand, reflecting back, why I was so masculine, why I was so always like performance, people pleasing, and like taking care of things, and like hoping in relationship I will get a love back if I give. But I gave so much that I got burned out. And
Oh.
same in my work in engineering, or like just overworking, right? Even that is when I talk about the five elements. Um, the first one of the element is earth, right?
Hmm.
When earth is like one of the elements of five elements, and when your earth is not aligned is when you get overburnt, overgiving. And when that alignment comes is when your foundation is strong. And what does that mean? Like you can only take your purpose out there in the world if you have a structure to hold it, right?
Mm.
And boundaries to hold it. So I was like totally on the other side, overgiving, burnout by overgiving, right?
Yeah.
My grounding was totally imbalanced.
Yeah.
So
You're pouring
I,
from an empty cup.
yeah, that's why I was disconnected, right? I was disconnected with the five elements. And the way we are, like the way even like coming to this planet Earth, like the Mother Earth gives you everything that you need to sustain and survive, right? But we try to find it from outside validation, even the artificial food, like rather than getting it from the, like if you want to go back to food, because grounding is also about eating from the ground, what comes from the ground in wholesome,
Hmm.
right? So I had to embody everything like that, like changing all my food habits, and then aligning those five elements in my business, and aligning those five elements in my life to fully embody, to be that leader who leads from intention, but also leads from aligning from what makes her soul happy and get those butterflies. So, yeah.
Priyanka, you're describing a pretty profound transformation.
Yeah.
And I'm curious. I mean, these happen in a variety of different ways. Sometimes it's this very gradual thing that
Hmm.
you work through bit by bit to get to the other side. And sometimes there's some some epic thing that happens in your life that causes that pivot, that spark. What was it for you that caused that transformation to unfold?
Yeah, I would say the pivots happened after I could not take any more the patterns that was occurring in my life. So, since I was a giver and I was a people pleaser, even if someone respects me or put me down or made me feel small or associated my worth with what I was doing for them, Like, because I was a giver, I thought it's normal to sacrifice. I come from a family, and it's not only in India, but it's all over the world. Like, we are raised sometime to see our parents, like my mom, sacrificing, but not even taking care of herself, right?
Yeah.
So, um, and something came in my mind. I'm just going to say it. When I told my dad I am separating, he said, "You are supposed to suffer as a woman."
Oh,
So it is
Oh,
also,
okay, Priyanka, how did you respond to that when he said that?
so his personality, Maddox, is like, I normally feared facing him. And I think a lot of this come from all of us, like our fathers, like where they come from. Um, Even if I'm in front of him, I can't even utter a word because I'm always living in fear, right? So this words came to me on my phone. So of course I can't, like, thank goodness I don't have to face him and do it, because I would have like started crying in front of him. Of course I was crying, but I did not even speak the whole 45 minutes he was speaking.
Wow.
But he said, "No one will come to your funeral. You are a curse to our religion."
oh my
So
goodness.
when he said all of that, but at the end, this is me telling him about separation after I have already gone through my spiritual awakening in last, I think, 2023. And this was in 2024 when I told him. So I was actually, I felt during that conversation, of course, I felt deeply, deeply hurt, and all those wounds were opening up, those trigger wounds that has been opening up. But then at the end, after he spoke up, because I know he wanted to get it out, and he is a man of truth, he doesn't keep anything inside. So, which is the best quality about him. He will speak everything that is coming. That's his way of like processing anger, emotions. He will just speak out, and that's what he did. And I let him speak out. And after that, I actually felt supported by my guardian angels that time. And I was questioning whatever he was saying because I had already done the work on myself. The Priyanka before, unhealed Priyanka, would have been so hurt, would have been felt so small. But I think for me, since I have done the healing work, it was easy for me to process. It did still take me a week to release it fully from my system, right? But
Mhm.
I was aware how to handle when someone project their insecurities on me by the time when I told him. So your question was, I think this just came in when you said that, but your question, what was my pivot? I think it was more of like the patterns I was saying I could not take anymore. In relationship, it would be not honoring me, disrespecting me, not nurturing me, not loving me, associating love as conditional, transactional, right?
Mhm.
And and then that was one part. Another part was like, the pivot happened was I also went through abuse in childhood. So my sacral chakra was totally blocked. And like I felt impure, like I had never slept. I felt like I was always sleeping with nightmares since 6 year old, right?
Oh,
So for me, also, like once I started seeing those patterns, it's interesting when you go into this Kundalini awakening, spiritual awakening, it's never like, it's just step by step. You start seeing angel numbers everywhere, 111, 444, right? You start seeing different animals. Like I had a moment, I was sitting at like I will normally go for a walk and sit on a river. I had moment with animals like deer or some birds like just coming and looking at me and sitting with them. So it was also connecting back to the nature kind of a thing deeply, not being disconnected. So I think those were some of the indications. So I had to, because I'm a curious person, I had to inquire why this is happening with me, why I'm seeing all this. And then I was totally exhausted. I was 50 pounds like heavy.
oh,
And because all those emotions from this so many years of making me feel small, negativity around me, all the toxicity around me that had made me also feel heavy in my body, but heavy in my emotions. Everything was noise, like there was no clarity coming. And I had learned meditation. I have been doing meditation since four. So those were always, meditation had been always those spaces where I would find my calmness in childhood. But I would say the pivot totally happened for me when I started seeing angel numbers, and then after that I started seeing how like the way people are putting their insecurity and projection on me. Like I started being more aware of it and then connecting all those dots, like why I'm still in this relationship for 17 years and why things are not moving, why my money is blocked, because money is energy, right? Creativity, money, they all are like connected, and they all are connected to sacral chakra, right? Like sacral chakra, that's where your power is, creativity is, and I was totally blocked there. So understanding all of this, and thankfully I joined some of the programs to learn like spiritual awakening. I came to know about that because I think divine has always a different plan for you to make aware of it. And somehow I landed on some videos on tarot, like on YouTube. And I felt, oh my God, this is so true. This is how I'm feeling, so disconnected and everything. And that led me to learn more about myself. So I would say my life, how it has been, like all the identities I have lived, like there was a reason that I had to live those, because those were all my testing time to make me become who I am, to come back to my truth, to come back to my vulnerability, to come back to my authenticity, right? And so yeah, I would say, Maddox, it was combination of all that. And then I had some magical moment of like coming to this place, Cannon Beach, for holidays with my family. And they were all having some coffee, and I stepped into this place. It was like what do you call, that's where I found my teacher, my shaman healer. She's a psychic and a healer, and I stepped into her office. This was Labor Day in 2023. And I told her, I'm not understanding what is happening with me. And I remember the first thing she said when she saw me, she said, your angel sent you here.
That's
I walked
profound.
in because they wanted me to walk in there.
Mm.
And I started working with her, and she helped me to clear all my chakras, getting everything balanced, getting me connected to my higher self, working with my womb. I remember when I worked with her on my womb energy, my sacral energy, I saw a girl falling off the cliff, and I thought, my daughter, it's probably my daughter, because she was, when I went through my spiritual awakening, it was at the same time when my daughter was 6 and I had the sexual abuse at 6. It's
Oh,
interesting. My spiritual awakening started at the same time my daughter was at that age. And I thought she fell off that cliff when I was doing that womb energy cleansing. But it was me. She told me it was you falling off that cliff and you rebirthed that day. And next day, my daughter was vomiting because she carried that mother wound from my womb. And it no one understood why she was vomiting so much, but she was purging, she was healing. I healed the generational, that time, the things, the lineage that will be carried through her, and healed everything for my generation before me, my mother, my grandmother. So I I feel like all this was part of it. And then when I worked on my solar plexus, that was all about my self-worth, because my self-worth was more connected with my father wound, like getting all the validation from men in my life. As a child, it was my dad. Growing up, it was my ex or my bosses at my work. So I had to come into that space also of like finding that self worth and self confidence and finding that validation from myself. I remember like before that, I used to always have different coaches for different thing because I'm always strategic.
hmm.
And I'm always like, every month, I'm like, okay, where are the gaps? Okay, I need to hire that coach, get best at it. But after that self-worth and finding my worth within me, not from outside, I came into this space that I am a teacher. I already know what I know, kind of a thing. And all these identities was I carried, that was to help me to gather all the skills and experience. But now I was integrating more with my intuition, right? It was not just strategy, but bringing my intuition, and my intuition opened when I really started to stay in my power, work from my place of my power, which holds in my sacral and like my self worth, and bringing all the pieces of me which was fragmented by others, right? And putting a boundary. So hopefully, Maddox, that did answer your question. That went long.
It was long, but it was amazing. And I have a comment and then I have a question. I
Mm-hmm.
think first of all, your story is an incredible story of this whole story is about becoming. And yes, transformation, but very much about coming from who you were or who you believed you were to
Mm-hmm.
who you really are, who you are now. And I think the thing that makes this story really like magical is that you have clearly depicted that becoming isn't about becoming something new or becoming something different. It's
Mm-hmm.
about coming home to who you
Yeah.
are and who you've always been, but lost sight of from the
Mm-hmm.
varying different things that happened in your life that distracted you away from your essence.
Yes. Yes.
Becoming is about coming home, coming back to who you really are, and your story really depicts that. Now, my question, I'm dying to hear how all this has played a role in your creativity.
Yeah. Thank you for asking that. And I knew that it was going to come. So I would suggest, I have been always very creative, Maddox. It's just that I was not fully expressing. For me, creativity in growing up would be like dancing, singing, doing art, right? But that was already always part of me. I'm a professional singer. I learned Hindustani classical singing. I have been dancing on stages all my life. I am also an artist. But I'm going to tell you how that has transitioned now, each one of those. So for me, it was more of like growing up, it's just a hobby, right? Like that is the creativity part. But then when I reflect back, my creativity showed up in problem solving at work. I was really good at problem solving because I was in quality engineering. So think about if someone had a complaint with their car or something in the manufacturing plant, like complaint came in, I was always the one who will find a creative solution, something we have to find in 24 hours so that we didn't get a loss. Because normally, a car in a manufacturing plant, because of the automation, it is made in every 2 minutes. Every 2 minutes, a car comes out of that manufacturing plant. The more I delayed that, the more cost my company is going to have, right? Million of dollars of losses. So I came from that very much very fast paced hustle kind of environment of finding solution, creative solution, bringing people together and making sure our customers are happy, right? So I brought creativity there. So I was always creative in different ways. But then when all this happened, when I went through my spiritual awakening, I did do the dance, but I learned new form of sacred dancing. It's a temple dance. And recently, and I did different performances. I went to Goddess Temple of Ashland, where goddesses from all around the world are worshipped. And I was a mother in that dance performance. And it was on the land of her. And as I was walking, people were saying they felt the transmission through my hand movements, like as if the mother goddess was there. So it was like my dancing has come to that place. And then recently I was part of this She Rose. It's like a whole like crew. Like we did perform, like they did performances all over the US. But I was part of their dance crew when I was in Portland. And it is interesting, the song I danced on, and it was a live. So the singer, Maria Stark. I love her songs, and she was singing live, and it was the song "The Voice of the Womb,"
Mm.
and I performed on that. So now my art and creativity, if you go back to dancing, is more of like coming back to that power, the womb energy, like bringing her back out. For me, like dancing is like a meditation. I go into my own space and I create from there. For singing, like I have been performing on stages, but now it's more of like my voice was always out there, but I know during the spiritual awakening it got totally blocked. I had to pause my podcast for like 3 years, 3 to 4 years, because I could not even come and speak because I
Mm.
was going through everything so much blocked. But now I'm back out there. My podcast is again started, and I'm so proud of it. But for me, before my podcast, if you listen, it is more strategic with questions, but now it's more like flowing, and it's more like what is coming, and it is more of like aligning with your soul essence. Um, and I would say this also changed into how I coach business now, because I'm a business coach, right? So I just when I work with businesses, I tell them it's not, of course, we have all these best practices, and this is what you need to do in marketing. This is how you need to do sales. Like I can tell them everything, like I can audit and do that. But now I bring them like, who are you?
Mhm.
Right? Your personality, you are the brand. You are the business, right? Are you bringing your truth, authentic self, right? So now the way I run my business is how I teach my clients to run their business. Now I also attracted, like my, now I have an agency. It's called Synergy. And that was also created during this whole spiritual awakening in 2024. That was, even when it was created, it was not something I had to hire and go out to people and find. My whole team got attracted to me. Every team member in my team are spiritually led member, like they're spiritually soul led. Like one of them has a crystal store with coffee shop in Philippines, and she does healing there, like sound healing. One of my other person, they do bar kind of healing modality. Other person who is like, and they are from all different religion: Buddhism, Muslim, Christianity, everyone, right? So like when I created my company, the first department I created was wellness, because
Mm.
what I saw, the employees from third world countries like Philippines are exploited, right? By Western, or like they think it's a lower label, so they exploit. So for me, the wellness, like I pay them really good, right? I pay them equal to what a person in US will be paid, kind of a thing. So
That's amazing.
I have like I honor each one of them, but I'm also a mother bear, and mother bear for my team. I will protect them, but they do healing events for each other. Like Synergy has healing events in Philippines, and they are doing those healings together. So I would say my creativity now is also embodied in how I integrate the pieces of bringing that creativity, your intuition, your strength, your authenticity, your truth, your voice, your embodiment, leadership into how you do your business to create a very powerful, impactful, sustainable business.
If I'm
So
hearing you correctly, what you're doing in Synergy is bringing together something that normally we think of as being rooted in the transactional world,
mhm.
and you're making it incredibly relational and sustaining. It's also a source of community.
Yes, it is source of community, Dwight. And for me, my team is not a number, and my client is not a number. And the most important part that I think I did mention, one of the five element is ether,
Mm.
right? I was not connected to my ether. I was not connected to my ancestor, my divine, the universe, the guidance. Um, and that was also part of my spiritual awakening journey, to be in stillness. Because if you are not in stillness, You're working from reactive mode, chaotic
Yeah.
mode, noises. You let distraction guide you. And there are too many things to distract us in today's world, right?
And, yeah, and it seems like there's another one every day.
Every day, right? But then stillness is where the creativity is born from. For me, my most creative ideas, even if I feel this, let's say if one of those five elements I'm not honoring, let's say I'm not drinking enough water, which is related to your flow, your intuition, creativity, like that blocks my creativity. And then I have to go back drinking water, right? So and then I know why I'm disconnected. It's one of these five elements I'm not doing. And sometimes that happens. Life happens. I have multiple businesses I'm growing, and this is a healing center I just opened too. That's also part of my creativity. So Maddox, I want to like make sure I'm in the topic because I can go so many places. But yeah, of course, my business got started. Like my business was like it was a vision on my vision board in 2021, but it took 4 years of me becoming that person to even have a synergy, right? And now I have a team of 9, and which is going to grow more. So
Well,
yes,
it seems
Everything.
like
yeah.
Go ahead, Dwight.
it seems like you had such a drive, and so much of what formed the way that you moved about in the world as a little girl, that engineering energy.
Mm,
It's something that you could carry along with you even when you were attracted to doing things that were more spiritual, more soul led,
mm,
and you were able to draw from the old identity to pour into getting the most out of the new one.
yes.
And for that there to be that kind of a rate of growth, I mean, we're talking not even 5 years,
Mm.
right? It's seems phenomenal. It makes me wonder what would where do you see yourself in the next decade?
Oh, I already had the vision of it when I was in Sedona. I saw it in my meditation. And I also went to Maui, Hawaii, where I was 500 years back in my past lifetime. Um, I went to each of those spots where I used to heal people. I also carried the energy of being the what is that? Chief and chiefess. What is that term? Um, they are also the king and queen, but during that time, I was the chiefess for part of this tribe, and I was also part of um, the union, bringing all the tribes together and bringing Maui together. So for me, like that journey with my shaman healer, and she has been in my life million and million of years. Like we reincarnate. She comes back as a teacher. She has been always my teacher. We have also lived in different planets as aliens. So when she tells me all these different things, but I think for me, when I went to Maui, Hawaii last year, like I knew all of this. Like before that, I went to Sedona. I saw a vision where I'm going. But in Maui, that all came together because as I was in there, I first time felt belonged
Mhm.
to a land. I did not even wanted to leave that place. I was so connected with her. I was crying. I was like with her, touching her, walking with her. I remember an instance like as I was walking, a huge mango fell down. And one of my favorite pearl earring my mom had sent from India, it's from pearls from India. I had lost it.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh no, I don't want it to lose. And as soon as I said, a big mango dropped. And that was divine. Okay, this is your gift. You're supposed to give me a gift. I'm giving you back a gift. So I had all those moments, but when I went to the Maui and there's this beautiful waterfall, I just went underneath it. And as I came out of that water, I felt the mother energy through me. like the goddess energy through me, like whatever you want to connect it with. But I felt so powerful. I felt so grounded. I felt I'm here for bigger impact. And that's why this place, this healing place we created with my mentor, my shaman healer, it's called Crystal Cove Boutique. It's in Cannon Beach. It's next to the Haystock Rock. Are you aware of that, Dwight and Maddox?
I'm not.
So
No.
no, so Haystock Rock is like a huge mountain in middle of the ocean kind of a thing. It's just like 2 minutes walk from here, not middle of the ocean. It's like on the beach. Like you can walk during the low tides, you can go and go closer there. But it was made 15 million years back by volcano,
Hmm.
and it is very ancient and it has a very strong spiritual vortex, same as Sedona when I visited there in 2023. So this healing center is just like 2 minutes away from this Haystock Rock. And this healing center was actually created for souls to come and find their life purpose and connect with their soul purpose, as I am connecting to that. And I am actually integrating and learning and like more of plant medicine now. So
Oh,
that is,
beautiful.
and I feel like my journey of spiritual awakening, like I never used to even cook before. I used to be scared because never used to like taste like my mom. There was other people's voices was in my head that I'm not a good cook, I'm not a good this. And I come from a family like in India, like moms, like they're the best cook. Like everything is made from scratch. I never even went out to eat. Like I always ate at home and I always felt nourished. And I was always trying to like connect the food by like it doesn't taste like my mom. So for me in this last 3 years, like I started doing sattvic diet, which is more yogis and Ayurveda diet, which is supposed to calm your body, calm. So it's good for like its body, mind, soul alignment. So I started doing that in back in 2023. So I integrated plant medicine like that in my own life, and I started doing so many holistic piece, and it comes effortlessly to me. I love it. The food tastes so heavenly, right? And I don't eat garlic or onion, like because they actually stop your spirituality. It makes you lethargic. So those are not good to eat. It's part of the sattvic. And normally, if you think about Indian food, like onion, garlic, part of it. So I had to get rid of all of that. Like now I only put ginger and all the spices. But it was slowly integrated to me, and then I came to my learning that I will be doing plant medicine, and now I'm learning more about that. We will be growing our plant, but it's all about, as you were saying, Maddox, it's and Dwight, like it's all about going back to my roots, going back to where we come from, like getting all like preparing my food from scratch, everything. It takes ages for it to get done, right? It's not a quick fix. Before I was like, quick fix, eat meal bar quickly.
Oh,
Right, in between meetings and all that. But now I'm so intentional, and I take action which are more aligned from that intention.
Priyanka,
that's
I just want
beautiful.
to say I absolutely love how open you are. You know, we do this weekly, and we
Mm,
certainly have attracted a broad variety of people who tend to be very open. But you have said things today and talked about things that people will talk in a closed place about, in a
mm,
private place. But to be on a podcast where it's going out for the whole world to hear, you've talked about, you know, past lives and reincarnation and different universes and so many things that so many people would just scoff at, and deem, whatever.
mm,
And I just love that you are really available to talk about that in a public place where with no regard to what anybody thinks. I get it completely. I can feel that energy coming off of you. This is my life. Don't like it. Sorry, tough for you. But you've illuminated so many things today. I want to call out for the listeners that you painted an absolutely beautiful, with a broad brush, you painted this really expanded definition of creativity.
Mhm.
And we listen to people all day, every day, and we find some people's definition of creativity is so small and it's so tight, you know? And so many people say, I'm not creative because they don't paint or sculpt or do
Mhm.
something, they don't craft, they don't, and that's creative, that's their definition of creativity. And you so beautifully, you expanded it into dance and music and cooking and even business,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
Problem solving and all the ways that you bring people in business together. And, I kind of feel like if you have an imagination, and we were all born with imagination, if you don't have one now, it's because you lost track of it and she's telling you exactly how to get it back. But if you have an imagination, you
Mhm.
are creative.
Yeah.
Hands down. No, no two ways about it. If you have an imagination, you are creative. And
I
and
love
you
that.
you brought that full circle for us today in other words, without saying it as bluntly as I did, you created the story and then I summarized the story, but you created this beautiful story that was about how creativity is in everything we see, everything we touch, everything we do.
Yeah.
And the
I
intentionality. I love your intentionality.
So beautiful. Yeah, I was telling you as I before even I stepped into this before even stepped into this space with you all, I put an intentionality into what I'm bringing, right? And I also surrendered to what will be coming and surrendered it to the God, the universe, like divine, our guardian angels. We each one of us have guardian angels, which are in 4D, we are in 3D, and then the 5D is where our ancestors are who are also guiding us. So we need to, it's very important to know that sometimes creativity can be a very lonely, right? But you need to know that you are never alone. You always have this invisible hand holding you, backing off millions of ancestors behind you, right? They are just behind, like they are your back. Like when everyone leaves you, right now my circle is like a dot. It's not even a circle. Because of everyone I have cut off, because of all my boundaries and what I don't accept anymore.
See, that's part of the becoming too.
Yeah.
When you became your true self, there were people that had to just fall away, didn't they?
Oh yeah,
That's,
they can't accept this new version. They're still holding on to my old version. Who
well,
will
and I'm
stand?
I'm curious, is your dad one of the people that had to fall away?
No, so it's beautiful. Now he's in more of a energy of, I think there's some part of him like guilt kind of a thing, because you
Mm.
remember that call I did? That was my first time telling him, you did not even protect me when I was 6 year old, when
Oh.
I went through this sex abuse, right? That's when he came to know, like at when like to this year I will be turning 40. So like that's like 39. For 39 years he did not even knew. But I said you were not there to even protect me. And I think for him, after that, he has softened. He has softened, but he also came last year. My parents came here for 6 months from India. He's retired. He's also like exceptionally amazing, like retired, exceptionally amazing in what he does and all that stuff. But he came last year for 6 months, and it was amazing for my mom to like pamper me, love me. I ate all the yummy, yummy food. But my dad saw all of me and he wanted to have some closure with my ex, and my ex did not even wanted to meet him. So once he came to know, he did his own research, because I am exactly somewhat like I also have this trait of my dad being curious, like knowing my facts and going out there learning. He can go in two extreme, very spiritual, know everything. He says I don't even need to read a book, I know the book by from the cover, like what is in there. He's like that kind of person. He has knowledge, so much knowledge of spirituality, religion, and everything. And the other extreme is super anger, right? um so for him, it was more of like he went back to many different astrologers because in India we have birth chart. Are you aware of it, Dwight and Maddox? Okay. So
Yes.
when we are born in India, normally our birth chart is made of based on your date of birth, time of birth, and it's like all the star location.
Oh,
It actually tells
birth
you,
chart. Yes.
yeah,
Mhm.
it tells you like how is your like life is going to be, okay? And like eventually he spoke to my ex, of course, on phone. And then he went out and he looked into birth chart. Normally in India we still have arranged marriages, so before the arranged marriage happens they look at the birth chart of bride and groom and they match. Mine was a love marriage, so we did not even do that. My dad assumed his parents did it, but they don't believe in it, so they did not do it. My dad went back to checking it, and he said, like, normally you're supposed to have 36 points matching, okay? Anything about 30 or 32 is good. Ours was only 4 points matching. He said,
Mm.
how even you guys made baby? There's no intimacy.
Wow.
He's like, how your baby was, because there was no physical, no spiritual, no mental, no emotional. So he had to dig in because I will not give him what he needs. Like I will tell, like, like he wanted to know the reason for me. So I did tell him little bit here and there. He wanted to know some reason from my ex. I'm sure he told something, but he had to go into his own journey, why my daughter's journey became like this. So he went with many different astrologers because not every astrologer is good. You have to find the best one who can read those charts well. And he found out the answer. And then he came back with that. And then I validated, yes, that was true. I'm not going to tell my dad, like, we did not have intimacy. Like, that's not a culture I come from. Like, we don't speak all of that. So he had to tell me, I had to validate. And then now he can connect all the dots. And now I feel, and interestingly, I'm going to tell you another thing. Of course, they were here 6 months, they went back, and my divorce, I was still part of going through my process. Interestingly, my life is so divine led. My divorce happened last December on the last portal of that year, which is December 12th, 12, without my signature.
Without
Wow.
what?
Without their signature.
Oh,
Without my signature. So the court approved. So I was like, and in morning I was let go from Tony Robbins event also. So there were two different things happened on same day for me, and I sat with it. I was in my bed the whole time. I was processing all the emotions going through me. Of course, some self-doubt also came because I'm still a human, right?
Mhm.
Maybe I was trying to figure out all the different things like judgment, right? Those comes in. What must be happening? Why this happened? Why I was let go of a team like I am so good at? Like I love my clients, like everything. But there were events that happened after I moved to this space in November. Like I have big amethyst here. I have so many crystals here, and the energy of haystack rock. Lot of things happened around here that led into, like, you remember I was telling you I had an internet issue, Dwight, last time.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember.
That week we had floods, we had high tides, no internet. I was helping more than 200 for 120 to 200 students with Tony Robbins, like one-on-one coaching, and I had to cancel, postpone, and then some of them I had to cancel because I can't even connect with them during the call. And like the whole practice that happened in 1 week, everything. I had to move so many meetings. The management got fed up of it. They did not even get intentional about it and they let me go, and I was shocked. And then in afternoon, I come to know from my ex that yeah, divorce happened without my signature. Now I'm figuring out my whole visa situation to live in US near my daughter, but it's just like a lot of things in my life has been the worst anyone want to go through.
Mm.
Right? And I don't talk about it. I'm this positive, happy person, always. Like people don't even see who I have become behind that. There's so many dark night of the soul I had to go through. Like yesterday I saw a video, she
well,
said,
that's
yeah,
part of becoming, though.
yes,
Yeah, it
yes.
is.
So,
Some darker than others, but that's part of becoming. We
yeah,
have to burn so we can rise
yeah.
from the ashes like the phoenix.
Yeah, and then to
Yeah.
answer to to back to that question of how my dad is feeling and did I disconnect with him. He's still in my life, but he is very much. I had a situation in January, and this was just before we started into the Aquarius season in February, like which is all around beginning. We ended the 9 year cycle of all the difficulties and the year of snake. So we were shedding a lot of things in last year. So I shed a lot of things during that 12/12 portal with all the endings. That ending was supposed to happen because I was supposed to step into my soul work in this healing center. I cannot do this work. I can't bring my creativity if I'm living from pressure.
Yeah.
My creativity comes when I give myself permission that this is what I'm supposed to do and not live from like also your nervous, because my nervous system was always not at peace. I was around people who will put their insecurities in me. There's so much chaos and drama. But and also when I was leading in Tony Robbins, I was taking 15, 20 calls a day. Like I was like, I still had space in between to eat and all that, but still there was a lot of pressure. They were not aligning with my ideas because I'm a creative. So I'm going to bring different ideas, how to improve my work. I created many different documents, how to make sure my clients are successful, but they did not even accept those changes because and then that space was not really the space I was supposed to be. So the god was like, you are not leaving, we are going to remove you.
Oh.
I think that's exactly the way it works.
Yes, so with my marriage, with every relationship, the and then in January, I because after this December thing, I was like, I need a reset. So I went to Florida by myself, solo trip, meeting all my clients and friends there, and I had a very interesting situation. I had three different moments there where again wounded masculine was coming into my space to take away that peace from me and trying to control my life, like the way they have my dad controlled, then my ex controlled, making like decision for me, controlling my life. Also, like they just want to have control rather than loving you. They just want to have control so that you can be small again, right? So I had like three different moments in January in Florida. One of them was like with my very close sibling, my brother, and he wanted to control my finances, and I'm like, no. And then he started saying a lot of different things. He's like, this is all your creation. There was nothing wrong with your marriage. Your ex was amazing. He had been supporting me until then, and suddenly he changed because the money came into play, and he could not control my money. So there was all these different emotions, and then I forwarded all that to my parents like, hey dad, support me. And my dad could not do anything. He just said, I'm here for you. But yeah, like that was the last thing. Like I felt so betrayed, so hurt by wounded masculine that time, Maddox and Dwight. I felt again my dad did not support me, and but he was still holding space. He knew he can't do anything, he can't tell my brother because my brother have like he just could not. My dad had to like just say like, we are here for you. But that's when the last conversation, and I'm still in between. He will like, I'm so now I created a new group with mom, dad, and me, but I disconnected from my brother that time. I was like, I'm not taking this patterns again. I'm not taking this kind of disrespect from him again because he dishonored me, disrespected me, and he was trying to control me, kind of a thing. And that was one instance. There was another instance where I was just having a yummy food at Tiki Bar. A man came in, and somehow he thought Florida, Florida's culture is very messed up. And I knew about it, but I was like being a amazing at conversation. I started conversing, and they were a business owner. We spoke about business, finance, investments, and this and that. And I don't know where he felt that it was okay to break into my sacred space, right?
Mm.
And touching me in a way which is not at all comfortable for me. I felt so unsafe, so vulnerable. And I left that place right away because I felt I felt so vulnerable and safe, same as what I felt when I was 6 and 7.
Oh,
So,
Priyanka, you said earlier that your dad had softened, and at the same time, you have
Mhm.
hardened, but in a
Yeah,
good way.
yeah, I would say,
You
yeah.
have stepped into your power.
yeah.
I have, and I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of my higher self because I was not connected to her before. And now that I'm connected to her, and she's the one who was, she's the one who came out of that water in Maui, right? I was fully embodying her power. She knows her truth. She knows who she is and what she's here to create. And I know I was supposed to go through all this trauma and all these identities because of who I have become and what I'm bringing out in the world.
Yeah, you're also, and I've never put these words together like this, but your ability to stand in your power plays a foundational role in your ability to create.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
go hand in hand. If you feel powerless, you're not going to be very creative.
No, you can't be. So with my brother, he now also he wants to come back into my life, but I know he creates chaos in my nervous system, right? He disrupts my peace, and it was a pattern. And I'm like, no, not yet. You can't come in. I felt dishonored, disrespected, and it goes back to that Maddox. Like, really, I had to hold on to my power, but protect my power.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
protection.
Bravo.
Yes.
Bravo.
Because people just can't come over and be all over me. Now, also, my ex got married last week and he did not tell me about the woman and not even about the wedding. And so I am just like, I'm still
And
going to,
he's the father of your child, correct?
yeah. And now
And
he's,
didn't even bother to tell you that he was
no. And I
married.
kept on telling him back, for me, intentional co-parenting is the most important thing. And my baby's emotional stability is the most important thing. If you would have told me, I would have helped to prepare her. And of course, I have been preparing that these changes will come. And she's the most empath person you will see. She's also the most creative. She makes everything from hand. For Mother's Day, she made a card for me and she wrote there, even if we are apart, we hold on to each other. And she's 8 year old.
Oh,
Wow.
how sweet.
Wow, wow, wow.
So
That's
her
beautiful.
maturity, how she sees, how she think, how she feels my pain, but she is also mature at 8 year old. Like I know she will be okay. She's on her own journey. He just told me they're moving to California and she's moving with him for schooling. So I'm going through my own things right now around the whole co-parenting, but I'm also making sure I don't go to the level that he is trying to create for me. But like staying at that place where I am whole, but I hold space. I even if she's far from me in Portland right now, I always put golden energy around her. I always feel her energy within me. I'm always putting prayers. I'm always putting prayers for her self confidence, self worth, her creativity because she's so creative. Like, I remember one of my birthdays, she got all these Amazon boxes and she created a whole jewelry box for me with all the tips
Oh,
and then put a heart shape on it. Like whenever she will be here, she will take things from everywhere here on the beach and then she will create some candles for me, beautiful ones. So and now she's doing crochet. Like she's also my source of what you call bringing me back to my inner child. Like because I ignored my inner child for the younger, like I lost that at 6. So I had not really celebrated myself. I was so serious about my life. Even I will do dancing, singing, maybe I'm like smiling like that in there, but I was not truly connected to my younger child. But she's also the one who brings me back to those, and we have so much fun. We get giggly, we get laughing, we just get silly, and we get creative together. So
Well,
yeah.
when the time is right, she'll be with you
yeah.
Yes,
when
I
the
know
time
she
is
will
right.
be. I said this is the divine plan. It is supposed to be what it is, but she will be back to me because I know she's an empath. I already know that she will be. going back to being a healer, but she has to go through her own path of her life first.
Yes, I think you're
Yes.
very, very wise.
Mm.
And just knowing what you just said and honoring that, I think you're very wise. Priyanka, we are about out of time, but I would like to ask before we wrap, do you
Mhm.
have anything that you would like to leave the listeners with?
Yeah, I spoke about so many pieces together, right, today. And you spoke, Maddox and Dwight, you spoke about how to stay in your creativity, right?
Hmm.
For me, when I'm the most creative is when I am in like I have proper structure, but also I'm in stillness and I'm doing things which energizes me and deleting, delegating the things that doesn't feel good. So I have a gift for you. It's supposed to help you to figure out what are the things in your life that you can delete, automate, delegate, and what are the things that you should be doing, which is still aligned and it makes your heart open up. It brings butterflies in your womb, and then also like understanding like truly aligning with your soul work. Because when you truly align with your soul work, when you work from that peace, your creativity comes naturally. Like when you start really holding space for yourself and being having those strong boundaries. So I have this gift for you. It's called getyoursop.com. If you just type in there get GET your yourSOP.com, if you go there, and Maddox, if you can also put it in the show notes. But
There
it's
will
a
be absolutely a link in the show notes for this.
awesome. So it's like a workbook, automate and delegate workbook. So it helps you to audit your life and like really figure out what to do, what not to do, so that you can stay in your element, you can stay in your soul essence. You can. So this is more of like bringing structure to your soul work, right?
That's beautiful.
Mhm.
Thank you. That's very generous of you, Priyanka. We really appreciate that. And I know that our listeners will too. This has been amazing. I knew it would be. I had this
Yeah.
intuitive knowingness that this conversation was going to be absolutely amazing, and it truly has. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
This has been a
Welcome.
gift.
It's
Welcome.
been
There's
a
always
pleasure and
so
an honor.
many. Yeah, I did not even talk about feminine and masculine energies, what happens when they two come together. But I like there's so many topics to talk.
There is more things than we could talk about than there is time, isn't there?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for creating that space for me, Maddox and White, for like really opening up. And I know like even if 1% of what the listeners hear, even if that create impact in some way in their life, that's what we are here to.
Yes.
Yes.
And I would love